Welcome, friends and fellow horse fiends. You've landed on Come Ride With Me, a podcast dedicated to helping you find harmony, joy, and success in your riding. I'm your host, Anna Fox of Equus Enlightened. This pod isn't about training your horse, but about training you to be the best partner for your horse. Listen to find out how I use my intention to direct my ride. You'll hear how I decide what to focus on, what to say yes to, and when to redirect my horse. You'll see how not getting frustrated or overwhelmed is the easiest path to sanity and harmony. So, what are you waiting for? Come ride with me. Hey there. Today I am with a friend of mine who is a warm-blood mare, and she was purchased to be a dressage horse. Her normal tendency is to be a little high-headed, and she's also a little sticky off the leg and moving forward. So those are the things with her that we're going to be working on. And today is the first day back after a little bit of a break over the weekend. So we're just working on going forward and getting a nice stretching, finding the sweet spot of her movements as we go. It's a little windy today, so hopefully that won't interfere too much. So I've worked a lot on just modifying her movement and getting her more comfortable, being over her back, stretching down, and really having more self-carriage, because when I first started riding her, she was not very good at carrying herself or regulating without constant intervention. I'm kind of a lazy rider, and I'm to the point where I'm like, horses are capable, they're smart, they can do these things, they allow us to ride them graciously, so we should give them as much freedom as we possibly can, even in attacks. I say that I'm a bit lazy, but also for a good reason for the horses. She tends to maybe start out a little sluggish. Today she did not. Sometimes, like when you put the leg on her, she'll brace. Any of that today. She also will tend to have a spooky corner of the arena. And there's also an area of the arena that she usually likes to hang out at because her friends are there. And so I usually will try to work through that. One of my favorite things to do, which I haven't been doing with her while I've been talking, maybe because I can't multitask very well, which is funny if you know that my other career is as a 911 dispatcher, where we do lots of things at one time. Is I like to do what I call a passenger ride, and you can do this at any gait, but sometimes to start out with, especially if it's a horse that I'm not really familiar with, it's a great way to see what that horse is thinking, and then also to build up some sort of relationship and connection. So, I mean, in that case, what I normally do, it depends on the horse. But with this horse in particular, as I know, she's probably not going to run off with me. That's not her mindset. She may just be looky, or she may want to hang out at one end of the arena or another. So with her as a passenger, I am just going to pick the speed at which we go. We're just going to start off at the walk, and I'm going to let her go. And you see already she's a little bit like, oh, wait a minute, I thought we were done. That was a really good ride. So we're just going to go for a walk around the arena and see what happens. We are approaching the corner where she likes to hang out maybe a little bit, and where her buddies are turned out. So only one of them is out here today, so maybe a little less exciting. But what I'll do is, I'm going to let her look. I'm going to sit as quietly as I can, and all I'm going to ask is that she keeps walking. And doesn't run me into the fence. There, she stopped in the corner. So now I'm actually just we're gonna go back the other way. She kind of made the direction change herself. We're gonna go back the other way. We're going to kind of walk the fence line, just like a horse would walk the fence line. Now I'm going to do a little something unpassenger-like, and I'm going to ask her to change direction again. Through yielding the hindquarter, and just, well, let's change direction and walk over here. Now her friend's coming up to us. And then I'm going to ask her to do the same thing again. And if she doesn't decide on her own to keep moving through the arena, I might make this a worky place. I might do something like some head-to-wall leg yields or something. And so now we're moving on. She may cut the arena short, which is fine too. So there I just redirected her attention. So she did want to sort of walk the fence line down in this area, and I'll have to move my camera another day and get you guys a video of what she likes to do down there, and then show you a couple ways to deal with it. But right now we're just otherwise walking around the arena. And so the only thing I'm going to change about my passenger lesson is that I am just going to not allow her to go out of the camera range. So I will have to steer. We're kind of doing this. Oh, now we're making a little circle. We're kind of doing this thing where we were kind of staying on the inside track, even maybe the third track of the arena. Now we're kind of walking down center line. I'm gonna stop. She likes this place to stop. It's the camera place. Maybe she's a ham, but she likes to stop. So I'm just gonna say, oh, can you move your hind end? Can we kind of do a hindquarter yield and move our hind end and get going again? Because this is the end of the arena that she's less likely to want to hang out at. So I'm just kind of, let's turn that way and see what happens. And as I'm doing this with the horse, I'm really, I really want to feel what's happening underneath me. I want to feel like, what does their back feel like? Do they feel like they're free in their shoulders and their hind end? Do they feel like they're bending evenly? Is there any crookedness that I can feel? Is there any tension that I can feel? Tension that's going to get you in trouble, maybe. If your horse is a little fresh, or, something like that. Like, be aware. Just be aware of that is what is happening. And right there, she kind of had her head up and she was looking out a little bit. And I was like, well, let me see what happens if I just put a little inside leg on you and say, can you put your head down? And she did. So, that's really my goal. I want to be able to have some really subtle aids and help the horse feel better in their movement. This has to feel better to her than going around braced in the base of the neck, kind of holding her head up and not having a lot of freedom of movement. So we're feeling pretty good. She always has a little bit of crookedness, especially in this direction. And it's kind of hard to describe. She will sort of throw out the left shoulder, but she also holds a lot of weight on the right shoulder. So I don't have a good description for it. It's an interesting crookedness to me, but we are working on it, and it is much better than it used to be. She used to be very dependent on the right rein. So now we're going to go trotting, and I'm going to keep the same thing. I'm just going to be a passenger. I'm going to let you trot. And she trotted a few slow steps, and then was like, I don't know if I feel like trotting today, man. And she has not been ridden since Thursday of last week. So it is Monday now. And so my goal is just kind of have a nice, stretchy, forward, how are we feeling this week ride today? And she says, I'm feeling a little bit on the sluggish side. It is also, the wind's blowing a little bit now, and it's still cool, but it's going to be a hotter day than we've had. So that could be changing her feeling. And you know, she's a little like, I don't know if I want to go forward. I'm going to kind of brace my neck against you. So I'm going to use what I like to call my reflex to relax that I have taught her. And somebody, the wonderful Karen Wolf, actually taught me that method. So, you know, I find her sweet spot and I make that, how do we relax? How do we get stretchy? There we go. And then I'm going to say, all right, can we try it again? And she gives me a little bit, no, I don't think so. Like, she's making me work kind of harder than I would like to work. I want her to trot when I set my intention to trot, you know. So I'm going to say, all right, come on. Go. And I did not monitor her head position or any of that in that transition. That's not my goal right now, is just to get her, you know, responding to my forward-thinking aid. She's giving me a little sass too, which she will occasionally do. I think, funnily enough, I think she's in tune to the fact that 100% of my attention is not on her. She likes attention. If I have a horse that's a bit sticky about going forward, a lot of times I find that using the stick or a crop, whatever you're carrying, on the shoulder is less offensive than using it behind your leg or on their butt. They take less offense to it, and they're less likely to kick out or do something like that against it. And you can see if you're watching the video, she's a bit, this would have been her normal sort of way of going previously until, you know, someone shortened up the reins and pulled her head down. And this does not look comfortable. I mean, it's not comfortable to ride, but I can't imagine that it feels very comfortable. Ah, good girl. So, you know, it's taken a little bit to just show her that this stretching is more comfortable. Now I can feel her feeling that the stretching down, finding that sweet spot is more comfortable. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to stop, give her a short break, some pats, maybe a cookie. Oh, good girl. That was a much better move off, even after that little brief stop there. So I'm super excited about that. After she went forward, I bring her right back down to the walk again because I want to emphasize that she moved forward, which is what I was asking. Okay, let's go again. Go again. So with a horse like this, I may just play this forward game. Can we go? Can we go? Can we go? Can we go? You know, a good go button is as important as a good stop button, and usually they're very related. So if you have a horse that doesn't want to go, usually they don't really want to stop once you get them going, and it seems kind of counterintuitive, but that is a lot of times the way things work. So good girl. And you see she's offering now the stretch. This, I might give her a little guidance from time to time, but for the most part, she's offering it. You know, still manifesting a little bit of her crookedness, which is to sort of lean on the left side and contract that right shoulder. So I ask her, you know, can you push out a little bit, especially in the turns? Can you push over onto the right side? And I don't want to make that always happen with my hand. My intention is for that to happen through my body, through my legs, not through my hand. So, you know, I may have to guide her, but then right away, that rein aid goes away.
And that's an important part of using your aids, because we get, we use too many aids all at once, or we use our aids for too long, and then the horses get dull to them, or they don't really understand what you mean because you're not giving them a clear direction. And good girl. So after that canter, feeling much better, and ride forward to a walk. Let her stretch a little bit. Oh, geese.
So we had some geese. I don't know if you could hear their honking, but they terrified the horse who was in the pasture on the side of the arena, and he came galloping past us, which is a little funny to see because he's a big dude. And I just stood there. I let the mare take it in, and she was perfect. No drama, just calmness. This mare has that interesting conundrum of not a good go button, but also not a good whoa button. And it's gotten better as I've been working with her, but it's still something that she struggles with.
And I just think, it's all a matter of the energy flow, right? The energy is just not flowing good. Like it's getting hung up. And so there's not a nice circuit of energy. And so connecting to that circuit is hard. For instance, if you're, say, bouncing a ball to somebody at the other end of a gym, and that ball is going straight and doing X number of bounces until it gets to you, it's really easy to receive that ball. It's really easy to intercept that circuit of energy. Even if you change your position, you might run up and catch it closer, or because it's predictable. But if you're doing that and then somehow, a little pebble or something gets stuck on the floor and the ball hits that and it ricochets off, now you can't connect to that circuit of energy and the ball's harder to stop. So the circuit of energy is really important, and allowing horses to have that freedom within themselves. I mean, they're just powerful animals, and when they want to move and they want to do things on their own, there aren't people sitting on their backs and trying to restrict them. So when we are sitting on their back and restricting them, we need to just be aware of that and, find the freedom in there. So now, okay, we did a little stretchy walk. Can we go trotting? Yay! And again, with asking the question, always asking my horses questions. Can you? Oh, can you put your head back down? Can you? I know the scary geese came over here, but can you? Yeah, okay, good girl. Right? Lovely. And this is so bouncy and so this totally reminds you of we're just trotting around some pasture. Nice and bouncy and stretchy. And people sometimes get afraid of this position because they feel like the horses are in a position to do more naughtiness, but actually I really have a lot less issues. Horses in this position, they're using their body in a good way. They can see. This is how they were designed to see. And sometimes horses pick up their heads because they're looking at something. Because of their vision, they have to change their head position to bring things into focus. So, getting after them or being angry about it, can we canter? Yes, good girl. Is a little bit silly. Now, there are other reasons that horses put their heads up, obviously, but, in the normal course of a workout, for instance, when you see her stretching so beautifully, if she raises her head, it's probably to look at something or because her balance has changed and she needs to. It's totally fine. If it's balance related, then I'm just gonna, can I reevaluate that balance? And this way's a little harder because for crookedness. And so it's harder for her to sort of self-regulate a bit at the canter, but she's learning. And so I ask her a little bit, like, can you shorten up? Ooh. When she says maybe a little, I go, okay. Sometimes she says, oh, but I can trot. Beautiful trot transitions now. But, and again, the walk to canter is complicated. So is our canter to walk still. So, doing these trot canter trot, just saying, hey, good girl. And I also really want her to learn from my body language. Come on. So when I ask her to come back with my seat and my legs, I have to, also myself, have to be aware, and I have to titrate that for how much I want. And I have to teach her that because she doesn't know that. Right? I have not been working with her all that long, and I only ride her usually maybe 3 times a week. So getting her to this point of good girl, and like there, she came out of the canter, balance issue because I was asking her short. Then she got her head up. I'm not going to push her back into the canter there. I'm going to say, oh, we need to fix that. Then we can go canter again. Now I'm going to ask her again, can you come back a little bit? Still hard. And one of the things that I'm going to do, I'm doing it right now, is using the stick on her hip on the outside. Just kind of remind her, like, hey, you can do this, you can. And she says, I can't today. I'm stiff. And so that's cool. Some days I'm stiff too. And I think she feels pretty flexible laterally, right? Like we're doing figure 8 serpentine thing here, and staying on the circle so we have good camera view. But and I feel like I can move these parts around pretty well. But longitudinally, she's a little bit not. Yeah. I want to ask her for a little bit deeper lateral flexion. That's a little hard. So I'm just going to do that for a minute. Make a little figure 8 here. And say, can you push your hindquarters out a bit, and then really give me a bendy here, and then a bendy here without walking. Good girl. Good. Yeah. Oh, very nice. Good girl. And there, she really stretched into that change of direction. And I'm just going to sit down, ask her to walk. Very nice. Right? And that is perfectly acceptable workout for the first one of the week. And, she's feeling a little stiff, whatever. Get her loosened up, and then the next time I ride her, I can think about maybe working on some of that longitudinal flexion, shortening and lengthening the stride, things like that. And there's lots and lots of ways to do that. So we will work on that next time, and hope you'll come ride with us again.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Come Ride With Me. I know there were some changes in audio quality at times because I had to dub in spots that were not clear in the original video/audio. I'm sure I'll get better at this recording thing as I go, so forgive my learning curve. My goal is to demonstrate to riders that we don't have to do something every second of a ride. We don't have to do things a certain way or at a certain time. Just staying present with your horse and gathering non-judgmental information about how they are going is way more beneficial than overthinking and overworking. If you'd like to learn more about what I do at Equus Enlightened, you can find me at equisenlightened.net or on patreon.com/equisenlightened. You can also find me on social media as Equus Enlightened. I will put all the links in the show notes. And until next time, happy riding. Oh, before you go, please remember to rate, review, and share this pod so others can find it. I would love constructive criticism, but like my mom used to say, if you don't have anything really nice to say, there's no need to say it. Just ride on, my friends. Have a great week.